Well, it's that time again. We're going to teach you guys about pitching in MLB The Show 26. I first want to start in the settings of this video because to get good at pitching, you got to have the right interface. Obviously, if you want the most accurate interface, it's going to be Pinpoint pitching. Obviously, there's a lot of other ones with Pulse. There's pure the analog, classic, meter, all those different options. Pinpoint is the most accurate. If you want to be the best at this game, everyone is using Pinpoint. Everyone that's up in the high ranks and even the esports players, they all use Pinpoint. So that's what I would recommend, and that's what I'm used in this video. Now, for your pitch ball meter, this is completely up to you. I prefer pitch trail. To be honest, I just wouldn't recommend the fade options because, they fade away, and then if you don't choose, it's kind of hard to see what you're doing. So I use the pitch trail. I think it's, also a pretty popular one. I know a lot of people like the Chevron one or something like that, so it is what it is. Now, I'm gonna use the fixed pitch location. I like to move it around, but this could be beneficial if you're new to the game. Obviously, it just puts your pitch in a specific area, and you don't have to move it around. And then pitch come and pitch delivery is all up to you. This is more offline features, in my opinion. You can put these as whatever. And then your pitching view, I recommend using strike zone. I use strike zone 2 for my hitting and pitching. I definitely like it a lot. For field view, you can use whatever you prefer, honestly. This is what strike zone 2 looks like. I think Strike Zone has it a little bit more zoomed in, and I think Strike Zone 3 is a little bit more zoomed out or something like that. Pretty sure this is the middle one, though that's the one I'm using right now. So yeah, now that we get the settings all correctly, the biggest thing when it comes to pinpoint pitching is you want to just figure out how to use the pitches, right? So basically on your controller, it's going to tell you go up, you go to the left, and then you go back down. And what you're doing is you're using your right stick right here. This is my right stick where my thumb is. You're using this stick to do the actual pinpoint. So see, I messed it up right there, as you can see. But that's how you do the pinpoint. So I'll quickly do it again for you guys. So let's say I want to do the slider and I'm using my right stick. I'm just going to go to the left, go all the way around, and then wait till it gets to the shortest point and then flick. And that's how you start the pitching. You do it all with the thumbsticks. So you use your left thumbstick to move the pitch around, and then you're going to use your right thumbstick to, actually do the little line that it has. And then you wait till the lowest point, and then you're going to flick your thumbstick down. That's how you use pinpoint pitching. PlayStation, this little left stick's going to be down here, so it's still the same thing. You're still going to use the right stick to do everything. That's how you use pinpoint pitching. It's all on your thumbstick. So that's the basics, right? That's the basics of pinpoint pitching. And honestly, when you're just starting out and learning to pitch, you want to just use a lot of pitches and just try your best to just learn the patterns, right? Every pitcher is going to have a different timing with where you flick down. So that flick down is going to be different for every pitcher on, their windups and things like that. Guys who have a longer windup are going to take a lot longer to, obviously deliver that flick. But it's really just about learning the patterns and then being able to flick down. And you're just going to get better with time. Especially if you use the same pitcher a lot, you're going to get really good with that pitcher. If you change pitchers a lot, then it's going to be a little bit harder, for example. But a lot of pitches are very easy to throw. Like a fastball is very easy to throw. Down, up, flick down. If you have like a cutter, that's also a very easy pitch to throw. A lot of the curveballs are pretty easy to throw for the most part. They're really not too bad. For example, the circle change can be kind of hard to throw. Obviously, if it's a lefty on the mound, you go one way. If it's a righty on the mound, you go the other way with the circle. So it's a little bit challenging to throw depending on, lefty, righty, all that stuff. So that's the only pitch that can be hard to use if you haven't experienced it before. That's the only pitch that has that. A lot of the pitches pretty much follow the same pattern and pinpoint. I don't think they change even if it's right or lefty. I think the circle change is the only one. Because for example, if I show you like a cutter, for example, it's super easy to do. Probably the easiest pitch to throw. Hit that in a fastball, to be honest, to actually get it like pretty accurate. So that's the basics of pinpoint. You want to just keep practicing on the lines and making sure you get good accuracy. And then you're gonna have to work on your flicks after that. Basically, how you line up the flick is you're gonna, to do the line just like that, and as soon as that little circle gets as low as possible is when you want to flick down, and then it will give you feedback if you're right or left on that, and then how early or late you are. That's basically it. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of practice to get good. Like I said, if you use the same pitcher, it's going to get pretty easy for the most part. So that's just something you got to think about when you're practicing for those little flicks right there. But it's going to take a lot of time to get used to, and then obviously on different pitches, it could be different, right? So that's how you throw pitches in pinpoint. That's how you line up the lines. That's how you do the flicking. When it comes to actually pitching, right, you obviously don't want to pitch fastballs right down the middle just like this, right? What is that good at sequencing for when you play, right? If you're playing online ranked seasons in Diamond Dynasty, obviously you'll see a lot of sliders, sweepers, cutters, curveballs in the dirt. You'll see certain types of pitches that certain people are throwing. Like I usually like throwing sliders, curveballs, sweepers in that down part of the zone right there. That's just a good really pitch, and a lot of people struggle on that. For fastballs, I see a lot of people throw them high in the zone or, high up in the zone that are way out of the zone, just see if they get a swing, kind of like this first one I'm going to throw right there. A lot of players, you know, if they're good, they probably won't swing at it, but if you're in the lower ranks, then you might see a lot of people swinging at it. Another really good one if you're at the lower ranks is curveballs in the dirt. I mean, a lot of people swing at curveballs just because they look so good, and then they just curve in the dirt. It just depends up to you. The other thing I would recommend is just not throwing the same pitch even twice in a row. I feel like that can get kind of dicey with it, especially if you throw it in the same spot. Like say I throw a cutter up here and he swings at it, and I go back to that same cutter, he might have a good shot of actually hitting that out of the park or just putting some damage on the board. So when it comes to throwing pitches in certain sequences, I wouldn't throw the same pitch twice. I feel like it only happens in like niche scenarios, to be honest, where you want to do that. You know, if you throw like a slider way outside the zone, he swings at it, you throw that same slider again, you know, you got a good shot to get another swing if it's way outside the zone. But it just depends. Think about when you're watching baseball in real life. Do guys throw curveballs high? Like no, for example, right? Do you see sliders thrown in the top part of the zone? No, they're usually down and away, right? So it's all those little things you want to think about when it comes to pitching. So it's really just finding your groove with certain pitches on pitchers, to be honest, and what kind of is working for you. If you notice you're throwing a certain pitch in a certain part of the zone and it's just not working, a lot of guys aren't swinging at it, or you're doing a lot of walks, you might want to change it up, right? So that's when it comes to throwing certain pitches in certain zones, in certain areas. Obviously certain pitches in certain counts, it's all that type of stuff. There's obviously a ton of strategy that goes into it. I mean, even if at the MLB level, people are still trying to figure that out, right? You know, a lot of rookies still trying to figure that out, or guys that are struggling still trying to figure that out. So you're really just going to find your groove on whatever works, right? It's really just a trial and error kind of thing at first. Like if you have no idea what is working on what count, throw what you think. If that doesn't work, you change your strategy, right? I mean, there's a lot of pitches that are not going to work in certain situations, but there are a lot of pitches that do work in certain counts and situations. Like, so for example, I'm in this situation right now. We got a man on first and I'm trying to form a double play. I'm probably going to try to roll him over into that double play, right? So I'm going to try to throw a sweeper out and away, you know, so he hits it to third base, right? I'm going to try to see, there you go, hit it to second base. It's all the cat and mouse gameplay that really goes into it. And that's the main thing. I think a lot of people are afraid to like waste pitches, for example, like you're purposely throwing a ball outside the zone to see if you get a swing. And I feel like for the most part, it's actually a really good strategy to do that because, you know, say they don't swing at that pitch, all right, you're not going to throw that pitch again, right? But if you see a couple of pitches, you know, that are close or border of the zone that are getting swings, you can kind of keep throwing that pitch to see if you get a swing, especially if you're in a favorable count. So that's when it comes to pitching. That's what you're going to figure out in MLB The Show 26. Now there's a new feature in MLB The Show 26, and it's actually called bear down pitching, right? Right here, we do see a new feature called bear down pitching. If you guys see where that LT is, it says a number 1. That is a new feature. It's going to allow you to have more accuracy on your pitches, right? So I go ahead and press LT. You can see a highlight right there. Let's say I throw the cutter. It zooms in a little bit, and it's going to give you more accuracy on your pitch, okay? That's basically how it's going to work. It's going to allow you to have more accuracy. Obviously, that wasn't very accurate. That is going to be a game changer when it comes to pitching, right? Those pitches are going to be very important for you when you're in certain situations and certain counts. It's going to allow you to gain more accuracy. And the thing about those bear down pitches is you're going to earn them over time. So you can kind of see as I'm throwing strikes here, I'm earning those bear down pitches. Basically, that affects your player's clutch. So if you have a really good clutch stat, you're going to be able to get a lot more. So I'm obviously using Vance Worley's card right here in this moment. You guys can obviously see he's got a 105 clutch. So his clutch is very good. So he's going to be earning those bear down pitches a lot more than other pitchers, right? So once I throw one more strike, I should be able to get that bear down pitch, which will be pretty exciting. So there we go, another strike, and I have another bear down pitch. So say I get in a certain count and I want to use that bear down pitch. I feel like when I've been playing, 0-2 counts seem like the best situation for you to use them. So let's use another one. Let's go to our cutter once again. We're going to throw it inside, and we'll see if we get a better accuracy than last time we did. And we got him to pop up. So those pitches are going to be really important for certain situations and allowing you to have more accuracy in your pitches. It's a brand new feature to MLB The Show 26, so I definitely think I'd mention it because that's going to allow you to be a lot better when you're pitching in your Diamond Dynasty games. Or if you're just pitching in any certain game mode, it's going to allow you to be better, right? So that's a huge factor when it comes to this game in MLB The Show 2026. But that is basically everything about pitching in this game so far. Bear down's the only new feature. If you already know pitching and you know a lot about it, then it's going to be pretty similar to you. But for a lot of the new players that are just getting this game for the first time, or maybe it's the first game you've ever played of MLB The Show, but those are the basics, and bear down pitching is the new feature for everyone. So I definitely take advantage of it when you get in certain situations or certain counts, especially when you're playing some ranked seasons. You're going to get in a certain situation or a certain count, and you're going to be like, wow, I need some good accuracy. We'll throw this pitch and we'll see what happens. So that's everything about pitching in MLB The Show 26. The only new feature is the new bear down pitching feature. If you guys have watched my pitching videos in the past, those are still valid with this game. But I really do hope this helps you guys out a lot if you're just getting new to the game, you're just starting, or you want to use Pinpoint for the first time. I hope the video helps. If you guys did enjoy this video or have any questions, definitely let me know down below in the comment section. I definitely will answer any questions I have on this video about pitching in general. So definitely leave your questions and comments. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Definitely check me out on all my socials. They'll all be linked down below in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.